Welcome back to our digital training class. Again, my name is Engineer Faith. Remember, this is our week 2, and week 2 we are looking at cybersecurity awareness. Today we'll be looking at keeping your smartphone, tablet, and computer safe. We have the outline for today's lesson here. There's a case study for us to look at, and we have secure settings for your computer and mobile devices. We have controlling access to your data. There's safe software download and installation. We're looking at working securely remotely. And finally, for this class, we're looking at browsing the internet securely. So we have the case study here. I'll allow you to look at this, and then we'll brainstorm on this on our live session. We'll be looking at secure settings for your computer and mobile devices. The first tip here says switch on password protection. Devices such as mobile phones, computers, and tablets are commonly used for work, to send and receive business emails, and sharing of sensitive information, which makes these devices a target by hackers trying to steal the information for their own personal gain. So by enabling password protection on your device, you'll be preventing unauthorized users from gaining access to your device and ensure your data remain protected. So it does not just stop at just enabling password protection. It is also important to practice a good password hygiene by applying the following. Use a good password manager. Use a strong password. Enable two-factor authentication. We've talked about this. And then make use of unique password. And then tip 2 says keep your device up to date. The best ways to protect your device is to ensure it is running the latest update by following these steps. Frequently run scans on all your devices to discover missing updates, and then frequently apply updates on your device. You can only do this if you're connected to the internet. Please note. The third tip here says make sure lost or stolen devices can be tracked, locked, or wiped. It is important to enable mobile device management on your devices to allow you to manage your device remotely in an event that it is stolen or it is lost, so you can easily track, lock, or wipe your data on the device. This removes the risk of your data falling into the wrong hands and the damaging effect it can have on your business. Imagine losing your phone and you have your very sensitive information in that your device, and then you don't have the means of remotely wiping or tracking your device to retrieve it, or wiping it off, wiping the sensitive information within that your device off the device. You can imagine having that in the hands of a hacker, or imagine the scenario where somebody now gave unauthorized access to your device. Imagine what that would do to you. You could just be impersonated or your financial details compromised. So make sure lost or stolen devices can be tracked, locked, or wiped. The 4 here says install a licensed antivirus. The foundation to having a good security posture is to install antivirus on your devices. It is important to have a licensed and properly configured antivirus in your devices to protect you from attacks by hackers. The 5 here says keep apps and software up to date. With emphasize on this over and over again. They need to keep this up to date because cyber criminals every day come up with new tricks to gain access to hack into people's computer network. So by keeping your apps and your software up to date, because the developers as well are aware of what the cyber criminals do, so they also build up their defenses against the tricks of this cyber criminal. So by keeping yourself, your devices, the software of your devices up to date, you're more or less protecting your devices from these hackers. So vulnerabilities are discovered daily on applications, and these vulnerabilities can be exploited by attackers to gain access to your device and steal sensitive information or go to the extreme of damaging your device. So frequently check that the software updates of your devices are up to date and apply them accordingly. So this will protect you from attacks from hackers at any time. The next TBS says avoid public Wi-Fi hotspot. We've talked about this before. Using a public Wi-Fi makes you an easy prey for an attacker because they can easily gain access to your device and steal your data. They can also plant a monitoring tool on the network to spy on your internet browsing activities. So unlike a private Wi-Fi, most public ones don't have any form of security in place to protect the users connected to the network. I know sometimes freebies can be very attractive, but be careful of the freebies that you're attracted to. And public Wi-Fi is one freebie we should not be attracted to. The next CBS says leverage built-in encryption. Encryption helps you protect the data on your disk by converting it into an unreadable format and only becomes readable when the correct password is provided on the encryption software. In the event your device is lost or stolen, the data on the disk cannot be viewed in its readable form. You can leverage on Microsoft Windows inbuilt encryption, BitLocker, and Apple Mac inbuilt encryption 5.0 to encrypt your laptop disk. So leverage on this built-in encryption. Next, we'll be looking at controlling access to data. Access control governs the resources that an unauthenticated user is able to read, modify, or write. Access control is a method of guaranteeing that users are who they say they are and that they have the appropriate access to company data. Access control is a selective restriction of access to data. It consists of two major components. One, there's authentication. This is a technique used to verify that someone is who they claim to be. Authentication isn't sufficient by itself to protect data. Data protection needs an additional layer. It's not just enough to authenticate who the person is. There's also need for an additional layer of security to the data. So next we have authorization. This determines whether a user should be allowed to access the data or make the transaction they are attempting. So we have two main components. There's authentication, whether the person is who he or she says they are, and then there's authorization. Do they have the authority to access the data? So we'll be looking at data protection next. Data protection is the process of safeguarding important information from corruption, compromise, or loss. Data protection is a set of strategies and processes you can use to secure the privacy, availability, and integrity of your data. It is sometimes also called data security or information privacy. The process of safeguarding important information from corruption, compromise, or loss is referred to as data protection. So, how do we keep our devices safe? One, always use a password. I have a phone. Virtually all the apps in my phones are passworded. Virtually all the apps, aside from the original password that you need to open the phone. After opening the phone, you tap on message, there's a password, you tap on call, there's a password, you tap on this, there's a password for every app in my phone. That's my own way of keeping my devices safe so that people, unauthorized users, don't just have access to any data at all in my phone that I don't want them to have access to. For you to access any data in my phone, I must give you the access. That means I will authorize you, and the only way I can authorize you is to open the password up for you to access. That's my own way. I don't know what yours is. So number one, always use a password. Number two, use password manager. Password manager helps you to manage your password. Let's say you have several social media accounts, and then you have been advised to have different passwords for different social media accounts, for instance. And I know it will be difficult for a lot of us to be able to remember all the passwords. So that's where password manager comes in. In password manager, you have all your social media accounts, and then you have the password for each one of them. They're listed, and you only need to memorize the password for your password manager, while your password manager protects the other password for you. Number three, we have use a strong password. Your password must contain uppercase and lowercase alphabets. It must contain numbers, it must contain special characters, and must be at least 8 characters long. Remember, number one, uppercase and lowercase alphabet must be contained in your password. And then it must contain numbers, it must contain special characters. Special characters, examples are like the alpha and the other characters like asterisk or stuff like those are special characters, and must be at least 8 characters long. And then you must use the two-factor authentication. We've talked about this over and over again. And then use a different password for different accounts. I just mentioned that. Install a licensed antivirus software. I've mentioned that as well. Keep apps and software up to date. So these are ways you can be able to keep your devices safe. And then number 8 here, we still have keep your device up to date. Ensure it is running on the latest update. Frequently run scans on all your devices to discover the missing update and apply them. Subscribe to vendor security awareness channel to get news update on newly discovered innovative and software updates. And then also make sure lost or stolen devices can be tracked, locked, or wiped. Enable mobile device management on your devices to allow you manage your device remotely. And then avoid public Wi-Fi hotspots. I've talked about this, have emphasized on this over and over again. And then leverage built-in encryption, example BitLocker for Microsoft and Apple Firewalls for Apple products. So these are some device security strategies listed here. We have the secure Wi-Fi network, we have strong password, deploy software solutions, wipe device, user access rights management, determine who get access to your devices, and then data backup. You must back up your data, and then leverage on biometrics. You know what biometrics is? Your fingerprints, your iris, and maybe even for some devices, your face recognition. These are all referred to as biometrics. So we'll be looking at safe software download and installation. The first tip here we have for safe software download and installation. When we talk about safe software download and installation, refers to you, maybe in the course of this training, you might need to download some software and install them on our devices. So there are certain things you need to know for you to be able to download this safely, because if you're not careful, you might just be introducing or opening the door for some malware to enter your device. Remember, we've talked about malware and how they operate. So number 1 here is avoid unsolicited links. The most effective and easiest thing you can do to avoid malware and adware is to avoid downloading any software, program, or app from an unsolicited link. You didn't ask for it, they are just offering it to you. Oh, click on this to get that, avoid such. Avoid downloading anything that you've received a link to via an email, text, or some other personal message, unless you completely trust the source. If you don't trust the source, you don't know who is sending, and you are just getting a link from an unknown sender, please don't click on that link. Next, we have free download is not equal to free software. Free download does not mean the software is free to use. Before downloading something that is labeled free or as a free download, check to see that the program description clearly states that it is freeware or completely free to use. Next, we have avoid tricky download ads. Don't be tricked by download advertisement. We see this a lot on the net below. One of the people that solve the net, you see maybe you're looking for something to download, and then you just see somewhere there, oh, download, and you think you can actually download what you need, not knowing that it's just an ad. So avoid it. Don't be tricked. This sort of advertisement run frequently on software download pages, appearing as giant download buttons. These download advertisements usually go to a malware-ridden page where you get to download something else. Not all software download pages have download buttons either. Many are just links. Next year, we have avoid installers and download managers. One way these download sites make their money is by wrapping the downloads themselves inside a program called an installer or a download manager. These programs are often referred to users as POPs. Potentially unwanted program is the meaning of POPs. Now, this program has nothing to do with the program you are trying to download and install at all. It just appears. Next, we have choose custom installation. During download, when choose custom installation comes up, during downloads, when choose custom installation comes up, this option makes the install process a bit longer with a few extra screen it adds, but it's almost always where they don't install these options are hidden. So they are saying that we should choose custom installation because most times this is where you will see where they don't install this are hidden. So one way to avoid installation-based problem is to choose portable software instead of installable software. Now, next we'll be looking at working securely remotely. Best practices for working securely remotely are, but before then, I want us to just understand what working securely remotely means. We have today we are living in an age where the internet practically connects everybody in the whole world. So we have an organization, for instance, with a staff located at different parts of the world. For instance, like Google might have staff in virtually every country in the world, and then they need to work securely remotely and somehow still connect and be able to get their job done. So what are the best practices for working securely remotely? We'll be looking at them here. Use antivirus and internet security software at home. Secure your home Wi-Fi. Make sure your passwords are strong and secure. Keep family members away from work devices. Avoid public Wi-Fi if necessary. Use personal hotspot or some way to encrypt your web connection. Be wary of email scams and your email security. Keep work data on work computers. If you have personal work, keep your personal work in your personal computers, while the work data should be on your work computers. Run software updates regularly. Use a VPN. Encrypt sensitive data in emails and on your device. Never leave your bag, briefcase, or laptop unattended. Don't use random thumb drives. Keep your Okay, that is all for best practices for working remotely. All of this, when applied, will enable you to work safely remotely. Now, how do we browse the internet securely? Because while working remotely, you have to connect, and the best way to connect is through the internet. How do you browse the internet securely? One, keep your browser and any plugins updated. Use a browser that allows you to take your bookmarks with you in between devices. Block pop-ups. Use an ad blocker. Use a VPN. Use a password manager. Ensure you have an up-to-date antivirus and firewall protection. And then beware of public Wi-Fi. We are singing this again like a song. Beware of public Wi-Fi. Beware of freebies Wi-Fi. And then finally use the HTTPS. So we have come to the end of today's class. I hope we have gotten some knowledge on how to use the internet safely. Try to apply this knowledge gain to keep yourself safe while working on the internet, to keep yourself and your devices safe while working on the internet. Thank you for staying to the end of this class. See you in the next class.